philosophical understanding. And how Sanjaya, because the entire Bhagavad Gita started with Sanjaya and Dhritarashtra questioning Sanjaya. Now, Sanjaya is concluding what happened on the battlefield to Dhritarashtra. So, based on teachings of Gita as it is by Srila Prabhupada. So, we'll start with prayers. Please recite after me. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya.
Nama Om Vishnu Padaya.
Krishna Prashtaya.
Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale.
Srimate Bhakti Vedanta.
Srimate Bhakti Vedanta.
Swamy Niti Namine.
Swamy Niti Namine.
Namaste Saraswate Deve.
Namaste Saraswate Deve.
Gauravani Pracharine.
Gauravani Pracharine.
Nirvishesha Shunyavadi.
Nirvishesha Shunyavadi.
Paschatya Deshatarine.
Paschatya Deshatarine.
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya.
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya.
Prabhu Nityananda.
Prabhu Nityananda.
Sri Advaita Gadadhara.
Sri Advaita Gadadhara.
Divasadi Gaura Bhaktarunda.
Srivasadi Gaurabhaktarinda.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
So when Krishna in the last section, he spoke the confidential knowledge and its practical implementation in the form of Manmana Bhava Madbhakto, followed by Sarvadharman Parityatya. Now he is instructing Arjuna whom this knowledge can be preached and who is not qualified to receive this knowledge. So this verse talks about the knowledge who is not qualified to receive this knowledge. My dear devotees, please keep your audio under, not audio, what is that? Microphone under mute. Okay, please recite after me. Idam te na tapaskaya.
Idam te na tapaskaya.
Na abhaktaya kadachana.
Na bhaktaya kadachana.
Na cha shushrusave vachyam.
Na cha shushrusave vachyam.
Na cha mam yo abhyasuyati.
Na cha mam yo abhyasuyati.
Idam te na tapaskaya.
Idam te na tapaskaya.
Na bhaktaya kadachana.
Na bhaktaya kadachana.
Na cha shushrusave vachyam.
Na cha shushrusave vachyam.
Na cha mam yo abhyasuyati.
Na cha mam yo abhyasuyati.
So Krishna is saying here, idam te na tapaskaya, those who have not done any austerity, na abhaktaya, those who are not devotees, na cha shushrusave, those who are not interested or not attentive to the hearing, na cha mam abhyasuyati, those who are envious. Please do not preach to this category of people. So this confidential knowledge may not be explained to those who are not austere, na tapaskaya, or devoted, na abhaktaya, or engaged in devotional service, nor to one who is envious of me. Na cha shushrusave vachyam, na cha abhyasuyati, those who are envious. Please do not preach this knowledge for all these four categories of people. So to whom this most confidential knowledge should not be revealed, Krishna is explaining, to persons who have not undergone the austerities of religious process. So they have not done the sufficient tapasya, they are not qualified for the purpose. Then who have never attempted devotional service in Krishna consciousness, those who are not devotees, abhaktaya. Those who have not tended a pure devotee, those who have not served a pure devotee. And especially those who are conscious of Krishna as a historical personality, who think Krishna as one among us or one great man, like a superman. He is man, but he is something special. He is something special, higher personality. He is not God. And those who are envious of the greatness of Krishna. See, generally what happens when we hear about somebody who is special, who is qualified, we automatically become envious of him because we feel insecure in front of him. So when this envious mentality is there, the knowledge more about the Lord will make us more and more go away from Krishna. So that's why Krishna is recommending not to preach to all this category of people. So why different people envy Krishna? Because he is the supreme and nothing is above or equal to him. Then who should not try to comment on Bhagavad Gita? Because when somebody is envious, when they have no faith in Krishna as a supreme Lord, and those who have not understood Krishna through authority of a pure devotee, so they should not comment on Bhagavad Gita, because Bhagavad Gita is the word spoken by the Lord. If you have to understand Bhagavad Gita, you should understand from the mood of Lord Krishna, from the perspective of Lord Krishna. That's why when Prabhupada mentioned Bhagavad Gita, he said as it is. This is what is the intention of the Lord, not the interpretation of the writer. So the practical application for this perspective is, see, various categories of people who cannot understand Bhagavad Gita. Then there are many professional commentators whose mentality is demoniac, and they are very much envious of Krishna. And they try to, some people may be worshipping Krishna in a different way. So they make Bhagavad Gita a business. They try to communicate their philosophical speculations based on Bhagavad Gita. So then anyone who desires actually to understand Krishna must avoid such commentaries which are baseless, faithless. So to those who are sensuous, too much in sense gratification, who are living only to satisfy their senses, so you should not explain to them. Even if not sensuous, but they are strictly following the Vedic scriptural disciplines. But if he is not a devotee, see what happens if you are not devotee, you cannot understand the perspective of Krishna's position. So next, even if one possesses himself as a devotee, but not engaged in Krishna conscious activities, so even though you may say, I am word of mouth, I am a devotee, but since you are not rendered service unto a devotee, unto the Supreme Lord, we cannot understand Bhagavad Gita. So in one lecture, Prabhupada explains his perspective. So here Krishna says that, idam te na tapaskaya na abhaktaya. Abhakta means rascal, who will not understand what is Bhagavad Gita. In the beginning also, Krishna, before speaking Bhagavad Gita, he selected Arjuna, because he is Bhaktosi me priyosi me Rahasyam hi etad uttam. The mystery of Bhagavad Gita, it is very transcendental subject matter. So therefore, I shall speak to you. So that's why Arjuna is qualified. That's why Krishna is explaining Bhagavad Gita to him. Not that Krishna picked up some random person to speak Bhagavad Gita. So then people may ask, why are you selecting me? I am not a Vedantist. I am not a sannyasi. I am an ordinary grahastha. I am also a soldier, fighting man. Why are you selecting me? If Arjuna would have put these questions. So Krishna is saying, Bhaktosi, because you are my devotee. So nobody can understand Bhagavad Gita unless he is a devotee of Krishna. So it's not a rascaldom that you speculate some interpretation. No, these things are not allowed strictly. Therefore, we are presenting Bhagavad Gita as it is. So in one more lecture. So Krishna, the Supreme Lord, he knows very well that there will be many rascals who are envious of. So actually everyone is trying, because Bhagavad Gita is very popular book of profound knowledge. Everyone is trying to prove his own theory through the medium of Bhagavad Gita, excluding Krishna. So this is going on. They want to kill Krishna. This is demoniac. So anyone who is trying to kill Krishna, he is a demon. So to warn the devotees from these demons, this shloka was spoken by Krishna himself. So this is specifically, why did Krishna say, who is not qualified to receive this Bhagavad Gita? This is the perspective. So similarly, when explaining Uddhava Gita to Krishna, when he spoke Uddhava Gita, he also concluded in a similar perspective. Na etat tvaya dhambikaya nastikaya shataya cha ashrushusor abhakthaya durvinitaya dhiyatana. So Krishna is saying, you should not share this instruction with anyone who is hypocritical, atheistic, dishonest, or with anyone who will not listen faithfully, who is not a devotee or who is simply not humble. So in a similar perspective, some more elaborate points have been added here. Hypocritic, then dishonest, then who is not humble, who is envious, all these perspectives. So now Krishna explains who is very dear to him, why he is dear to him. Please recite after me. Yaidam paramam guhyam
Yaidam paramam guhyam
madbhakteshu abhidashyati
madbhakteshu abhidashyati
bhaktim mayi param
bhaktimayi param krutva
mam evashyati asamshayah.
mam evashyati asamsayah.
Once again. Yaidam paramam guhyam
Yaidam paramam guhyam
madbhakteshu abhidashyati
madbhakteshu abhidashyati
bhaktim mayi param krutva
bhaktimayi param krutva
mam evashyati asamshayah.
mam evashyati asamsayah.
So, Yaidam paramam guhyam. Those who speak this most confidential knowledge, mad bhakteshu abhidashyati, to who speaks this knowledge among my pure devotees or the devotees of the Lord. So, bhakti mayi param krutva, they attain this highest devotional perspective. Mam evashyati asamshayah. At the end, they will reach me without any doubt. So, for one who explains the supreme secret to the devotees, Yaidam paramam guhyam mad bhakteshu abhidashyati. So, devotional service is guaranteed. Bhakti mayi param krutva. And at the end, he will come back to me. Mam evashyati asamshayah. So now Krishna is saying, earlier verse he said, who is not qualified to receive the knowledge? Now, who is qualified to receive? So amongst whom is this Bhagavad Gita discussion in generally recommended? So only amongst devotees. So for those who are not devotees will neither understand Krishna nor Bhagavad Gita. So those who do not accept Krishna as he is and Gita as it is should not try to explain Bhagavad Gita whimsically and become offenders because they are decrying personality of Lord Krishna. It's like disrespecting Lord Krishna. They become offensive in that perspective. So Bhagavad Gita should be explained to persons who are ready to accept Krishna as the Supreme Lord. And this is not specifically for philosophical speculators who try to imagine, who try to assume about Krishna. So it is not meant for them. So anyone who tries sincerely to present Bhagavad Gita as it is will advance in devotional activities and reach the pure devotional state of life. That is what as Krishna had promised here. Bhaktim mayi param krutva. So the similar verse in Uddhava Gita, Ya etan mama bhakteshu sampradatyat supushkalam tasyaham brahmadayasya dadami atmanam atmanam. So anyone who liberally disseminates this knowledge amongst my devotees is the bestower of the absolute truth, and to him I give my very own self. So Krishna is saying, I dedicate myself to the devotee who preaches about me to other devotees. So this is the best way to attract the mercy of the Lord is to preach Bhagavad Gita in the devotee section. So then one more place also Krishna says in Uddhava Gita, Eter dosher vihinaya brahmanyaya priyaya cha sadave suchaye bruyat bhakti syat shudra yoshita. So this knowledge should be taught to one who is free from these bad qualities. Doshaya, one who is sorry. So one who is doshaya vihinaya. So then who is dedicated to the welfare of the brahmanas, brahmanaya priyayacha. And who is kindly disposed, saintly and pure, sadave suchaye bruyat. And if common workers and women are found to have devotion for the Supreme Lord, they are also to be accepted as qualified hearers. Bhakti syat shudra yoshitam. Even on a lower birth, doesn't matter. If there is devotion in them, they are all qualified to receive this Bhagavad Gita.
Even if we say that Krishna is not physically present, as he was present before Arjuna, still his book, Bhagavad Gita, is there. And that Bhagavad Gita is not different from Krishna. Krishna and Krishna's teaching, the same, absolute. That is absolute truth. Krishna's and Krishna's form, the same. It is not that we are making a show of offering Krishna some food. No, we are offering directly to Krishna and he is eating. Krishna being absolute, he can perform through anything, provided we are sincere and serious.
So now, if somebody attempts to preach this knowledge, how dear are they to Krishna? Krishna explains here. Please recite after me. Nacha tasman manusheshu
Nachatasman manusheshu
kashin me priyakruttamaha
kaschin me priyakruttamaha
bhavita nacha me tasmat
bhavita nacha me tasmat
anyaha priyataro bhuvihi
anyaha priyataro bhuvi
nacha tasman manusheshu
nachatasman manusheshu
kashin me priyakruttamaha
kaschin me priyakruttamaha
bhavita nacha me tasmat
bhavita nacha me tasmat
anyaha priyataro bhuvi.
anyaha priyataro bhuvi.
So nacha tasman manusheshu, there is no one among these humans kashin me priyakruttamaha, who is very dear to me, nor bhavita nacha me tasmat, who will become very dear to me in future. Because those who preach this Bhagavad Gita knowledge, he becomes very dear to me, anyaha priyataro bhuvi, than anyone else. So there is no servant in this world more dear to me than he, nor will there be one more dear who preaches this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita everywhere. So he becomes very dear to me. That's what Krishna is saying. Nobody is there in comparison to him. He is more dear to me either in this or in the future. So Krishna worships the preachers. This is what in Bhagavatam perspective we understand. My dear King Yudhishthira, the Brahmanas, especially those engaged in preaching the glories of the Lord throughout the entire world, are recognized and worshipped by the Supreme Lord, who is the heart and soul of all creation. The Brahmanas, by their preaching, sanctify the three worlds with the dust of their lotus feet, and thus they are worshipable even for Krishna. So, as admitted by Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, Nachatasman Manusheshu Kashin me Priyakruttamaha. The Brahmanas preach the cult of Krishna consciousness all around the world, and therefore, although they worship Krishna, the Supreme Lord, the Lord also recognizes them as worshipable. The relationship is reciprocal. The Brahmanas want to worship Krishna, and similarly, Krishna wants to worship the Brahmanas. That's why he is known as Brahmanya Devaya. He is the Lord of the Brahmanas. So, similarly, in Bhagavatam, this is spoken by Lord Kapila in the 3rd canto. Tasman Mayi Arpita Shesha Kriyartha Atma Nirantaraha Mayi Arpita Atmanah Pumso Mayi Sanyasya Karmanaha Na Pashyami Param Bhutam Akartuhu Samadarshana. Therefore, I do not find a greater person than he who has no interest outside of me, and who therefore engages and dedicates all his activities and all his life, everything unto me without cessation. So, who becomes dear to the Lord is those by their manasa, vacha, karmana engage in the service of the Lord and dedicate all their life for the service of the Lord. He becomes very dear to the Lord. Now, how to read this Bhagavad Gita? Krishna explains here. Please recite after me. Adyeshyate yachaya imam
Adhyashtaya imam
dharmyam samvadam avyayo
dharmam samvadam
jnana yajnena tenaham
nanayajnaham
ishtasyamiti me matihi
ishtasyami
adyeshyate chaya imam dharmyam samvadam avyayo jnana yajnena tenaham ishtasyamiti me matihi. So this verse talks about if you read Bhagavad Gita, what happens. So, and I declare that he who studies this sacred conversation worships me by his intelligence. So, if you sincerely study Bhagavad Gita, we worship the Lord by our intelligence. So, this is what as declared by Lord Krishna himself. So, this is the benefit of studying Bhagavad Gita. So, in Uddhava Gita also Krishna says, Naita Vijnaya Jijnashor Jnatavyam Avashishyate pitva piyusham amrutam patavyam na avashishya. So when an inquisitive person comes to understand this knowledge, he has nothing further to know. After all, one who has drunk the most palatable nectar cannot remain thirsty. So this is the highest subject. So once you know about Krishna, yasmin vijnate sarvamevam vijnatam bhavati. You know about everything. So this is the complete of all knowledge to know about the Lord and about his glories and personality. So now what is the benefit if one listens to Bhagavad Gita? Last verse talks about one reads Bhagavad Gita. So this verse talks about what one listens to Bhagavad Gita. Please recite after me. Shraddhavan anasuyascha Shunuyadapi yo naraha Sopi mukta sulabha lokan Prapnuyat punya karmanam Shraddhavan anasuyascha Shunuyadapi yo naraha Sopi mukta sulabha lokan Prapnuyat punya karmanam. So those who are with faith, Shraddhavan, Anasuyascha, without envious, Shuniyad apyo naraha, those who listen to this Bhagavad Gita, Sopi mukta subha lokan, he goes to the higher planetary systems where pious people dwell. And Prapnuyat punya karmanam, by engaging in pious activities, he becomes free from all sinful reactions. So they goes to the planet where the devotees reside. So when Krishna is saying, do not speak to envious category of people, but still devotees, they conduct open classes, they give opportunity for everybody to listen. So why is this perspective? So in that purport, Prabhupada explains, although everyone is not a devotee, still there are many men who are not envious of Krishna. Many people are ignorant of position of the Lord. So they may not know about qualification of the Lord or understanding about the Lord because they have never been taught in this perspective. But they all have simple personalities. They have simple faith in the Lord. So because of result of hearing in the bona fide devotee system, they will become free from all sinful reactions and they will attain to the planets of righteous persons. Because of their tendency to hear from authority, they become purified and they become qualified to attain higher planetary systems. So even a person who does not try to be a pure devotee attains the results of righteous activities. So thus the pure devotee of the Lord gives everyone a chance to become free from all sinful reactions and to become a devotee of the Lord. So see, Lord wanted every jiva to be reclaimed to take them back home, back to God. So pure devotee, understanding the mood of the Lord, he wants to give opportunity for every jiva so that they all become purified and go back to the Lord. So what is the importance of punya karmanam? So it refers to the performance of great sacrifices. So those righteous in performing devotional service but not pure can attain the pure planetary system of pole star Dhruva Maharaj. See, in one lecture, Prabhupada says, therefore a devotee is more merciful than Krishna. Krishna is very strict, but the devotees are very lenient. Krishna doesn't want to speak even with demons. But the devotees are so kind, they go to the demons and pray, kindly hear about Krishna. Therefore, a devotee is more merciful than Krishna. Krishna doesn't speak to the demons unless you are one with who is a bhakta. Just like Bhagavad Gita was spoken to Arjuna, Bhaktosi ve sakachit. Krishna never speaks. Krishna is very strict. But the devotees, Krishna has said, Ya imam paramam guhyam mad bhaktesh avidashiti. So about Bhagavad Gita, he says, one who speaks his confidential knowledge amongst the bhaktas. He recommends the bhaktas, but the devotees, they are so merciful, they go to the abhakta, transgressing the order of Krishna because they are so merciful. All right, Krishna has rejected them. Let me try. So this is the position of a devotee. So they are more merciful than the Lord because they are giving this opportunity of listening about the Lord to one and everyone without any qualification also. So similarly in Uddhava Gita, Krishna says, Ya etat shraddhaya nityam avyagra shrunuyan naraha mai bhaktim param kurvan karmabir nasabadhyati. So anyone who regularly listens to this knowledge with faith and attention, all the while engaging in my pure devotion service, will never become bound by the reactions of material world. So now Krishna is concluding his perspective by asking Arjuna, what has he understood? So with that perspective, please recite after me. Kachit etat srutam partha.
Kachit etat srutam partha.
Tvaye kagrena chetasa.
Tvaye kagrena
Kachit ajnana sammohaha.
Kachit
Pranastaste dhananjaya. Once again, Kachit etat shrutam partha. Tvaye kagrena chetasa. Kachit ajnana sammohaha. Pranastaste dhananjaya. So, O conqueror of wealth, Dhananjaya, Arjuna, have you heard this attentively with your mind? And are your illusions and ignorance now dispelled? Kachit ajnana sammohaha. Ajnana sammohaha. Have they gone? Tvaya ekagrena. Have you heard with attention? Chetasa, with your mind. So why Krishna asked this question as spiritual master? Because Lord was acting like a guru, because Arjuna has surrendered to him as a disciple. So it is his duty to inquire from Arjuna, has he understood the Bhagavad Gita in its proper perspective or not? If not, Lord was ready to re-explain any point or whole Bhagavad Gita if so required. So what is the expected result of hearing Bhagavad Gita as per Krishna's expectation? So anyone who hears Bhagavad Gita in from the bona fide parampara system, like Krishna or his representative, will find that all his ignorance will become driven away. He becomes free from ignorance. Ajnana sammoha. So Bhagavad Gita is not an ordinary book. So what is expected of it? Any person, if he is fortunate enough to hear these teachings from Krishna or his bona fide representative, will become surely liberated person and get out of the darkness of ignorance. So again in Uddhava Gita, Krishna says, Api Uddhava Tvaya Brahma Sake Samvadaritam Apite Vigato Mohaha Shokaschaso Manobhava. My dear friend Uddhava, have you now completely understood this transcendental knowledge? Or the confusion and lamentation that arose in your mind now dispelled? A similar perspective, see how Krishna is saying to Uddhava also. So now, what was the response of Arjuna after hearing Bhagavad Gita? So please recite after me. Arjuna Vacha.
Arjuna Vacha.
Nastamoha Smritir Labda.
Nashto
Vat Prasadan Mayachyuta. Titosmi Gata Sandeha. Karishye Vachanam Tava. Arjuna Vacha. Nastamoha Smritir Labdva. Vat Prasadan Mayachyuta. Titosmi Gata Sandeha. Karishye Vachanam Tava. So Arjuna is saying, Nastamoha Smritir Labdva. Nastamoha, my illusion is gone. Smritir Labdva, my intelligence has been regained. Vat Prasadan Maya Achyuta. By your mercy, oh my dear Lord Achyuta. Stitosmi, I am situated in my constitutional position. Gata Sandeha, all my doubts have been cleared. Karishye Vachanam Tava, please instruct me what I should do. So Arjuna is saying, I don't want to do anything of my own independence. Whatever you instruct me, I will do that. So Arjuna said, my dear Krishna, oh infallible one, my illusion is gone. Nastamoha. I have regained my memory by your mercy. Smritir Labdva Tvat Prasadat Maya Achyuta. And I am now firm and free from doubt. Stitosmi Gata Sandeha. And I am prepared to act according to your instructions. Karishye Vachanam Tava. So this is Sthitosmi, constitutional position of living entity. Arjuna represents a common Jiva. So one has to act according to the order of the Supreme Lord, and it is meant for self-discipline. So to accept one's position as the eternal servant of the Supreme Lord, this is the constitutional position of the Jiva. Then what is the cause of his conditioning by Maya, material nature? Forgetting the principle as eternal servant of the Lord is the cause of his conditioning. So how to come out of this conditioning? Service is the constitution of the Jiva. So the normal condition is Jivera Swarupahai Krishnera Nitya Dasa. He has to serve the Supreme Lord. But in illusion, he is serving the Maya, and certainly he will be in bondage because of it. Then what is illusion? One becomes bound by lust and desire, kama and desire, lust and desire. One thinks himself to be the master of this world and is serving this material world. Ichcha, dvesha, this perspective. Then the last illusion is, the last snare of Maya is to trap the Jiva thinking that I am God. This is the perspective. So then actually one can never become God. If he would have been God, how could he be in doubt? So how can he command illusion if he is God? So this is the foolish understanding. So what it means to be free from illusion? To understand Krishna and to agree to act according to his order. This means free from illusion. Then what is the significance of the word moha? That which is opposite to knowledge. Illusion means which is opposite to knowledge. So Jiva thinks that he is not a servant, he is the master of this world, he wants to lord it over the material nature. But the real knowledge is Jiva is the eternal servant of the Lord. So how to overcome this illusion is by engaging in the service of a pure devotee who engages in the service of the Lord, and by the mercy of Guru and Krishna, they become free from illusion. Then what is this Krishna consciousness? To act according to Krishna's order. So this is Krishna consciousness. So why a conditioned soul acts under illusion? Because of lack of knowledge of Krishna's position as the Supreme Lord, who is the master, who is full of knowledge, who is the proprietor of everything. So whatever he desires, he can bestow upon his devotee. He is the friend of everyone. And he is especially inclined to his devotee. He is the controller of all this material nature and of all living entities. He is also the controller of inexhaustible time. He is full of all opulences and all potencies. The Supreme Lord can give himself to the devotee. So what is the role of a Bhagavad Gita? When a person is in full knowledge, he naturally surrenders to Krishna. Similarly, after hearing Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna became free from all illusion. So one understands Krishna factually, in truth. So Arjuna understood him not only as a friend, but also as a Supreme Lord. And he also understood Krishna's plan to reduce the unnecessary population, Bhubhara. So Arjuna took up his bow and arrows to fight under the order of the Lord. So Prabhupada says, what is the difference between bhakti and karma? So we should only accept Krishna's desire. That is the instruction of Bhagavad Gita. Arjuna's desire was not to fight, but Krishna's desire was to fight, just the opposite. Arjuna ultimately agreed to Krishna's desire. Yes, karishya vachanam tava. I will act according to your desire. So this is bhakti. So this is the difference between bhakti and karma. Karma means to fulfill my desires, and bhakti means to fulfill Krishna's desire. That is the difference. Now you make your choice, whether you want to make your desires fulfilled or if you want to make Krishna's desire fulfilled. If you make your decision to make Krishna's desire fulfilled, then your life is successful. That is our Krishna consciousness. Krishna wants it. I must do it. I will not do anything for me. This is the difference between material and spiritual. So while ending Uddhava Gita also, Krishna says, Uddhava is saying, after understanding Uddhava Gita from Krishna, Shri Uddhava Vacha, Vidravito moha mahandakaro ya ashrito me tava sannidana vibhavasho kimnu samipa gasya shitam tamobi prabhavanti ajadya. Uddhava said, O unborn primeval Lord, although I had fallen into the greatest darkness of illusion, my ignorance has been now dispelled by your merciful association. Indeed, how can cold, darkness and fear exert their power over one who has approached the brilliant sun?
One who surrenders to Krishna or God is very fortunate. Bhunam janmanamantu jnanavan mang prabhutat. One who surrenders, he is not ordinary man. He is greater than all scholars, all philosophers, all yogis, all karmis, topmost man. One who surrenders. Therefore it is very confident. So our teaching, Krishna consciousness movement, to present Bhagavad Gita as it is a process of teaching people how to surrender to Krishna and Lord. That's all. Therefore Krishna says, this is a confidential, nobody will accept, but one who takes the risk, please surrender. So when you go to preach, you know the preachers are sometimes attacked, just like Nityananda Prabhu was attacked by Jagai Madhai. Lord Jesus Christ was crucified, killed. So, a preacher has the risk. Therefore Krishna says, these field workers who are engaged in preaching this Bhagavad Gita as it is, they are very, very dear to me. Very, very dear to me. Nachatasmat manusyeshu kaschit me priyate. There is nobody dearer to me than that person who preaches this confidential truth to the people. Therefore, if we want to please Krishna, we have to take this risk. Krishna Guru, my spiritual master, took this risk, preaching work, and he inspired us also to do that preaching work. And we are also imploring you to take this preaching work. So this preaching work, however, so poorly we do. Poorly, it is not poor. But suppose I am not very much educated. Just like this boy. If I send him for preaching work, he is not very educated now, he is not a philosopher, he is not a scholar, but he can also preach. He can also preach. Because our preaching is not very difficult thing. If we go from door to door and simply request people, my dear sir, he chant Hare Krishna, and if he is little advanced, please try to read teachings of Lord Chaitanya. It is very nice, he will benefit. So these 3-4 words will make you a preacher. Is it very difficult task? He may not be very learned, very good scholar, very good philosopher. You simply say, go and door to door. My dear sir, you are very learned man. For the time being, stop your learning. Simply chant Hare Krishna.
So now, Sanjaya is coming back to what he understood from this entire conversation to Dhritarashtra. So he is explaining his realization in the next 5 verses. Please recite after me. Sanjaya vacha iti aham vasudevasya Parthasya cha mahatmanah Samvadam imam ashrausam Adbhutam Roma Harshanam Sanjaya Vacha Iti Aham Vasudevasya Artasya Cha Mahatmanah Sambadam Imam Ashrosham Adbhutam Roma Harshanam.
Adbhutam Roma Harshanam.
He is saying this conversation between Krishna and Arjuna, this samvadam is Ashosham, which is very glorious. Thus, I have heard this conversation of the group, two great souls, Mahatmanaha, Krishna and Arjuna. And so wonderful is that message that my hair is standing on my head. Adbhutam Roma Harshanam. So, in the beginning of Gita, Dhritarashtra inquired from his secretary Arjuna what happened in the battlefield. So, Sanjaya, by the grace of Vyasa, was explaining the theme of the entire battlefield. So, what is so wonderful in this message? Because the Supreme Lord was speaking about himself and his energies to Arjuna, who is a great devotee of the Lord. So, this is an important conversation, Samvadam Mahatmanaha, between two great souls that had never taken place before nor would take place again in the future. So, how to make our life happy and successful is following the footsteps of Arjuna to understand Krishna. Simple. So, similarly, after understanding Uddhava Gita also, Ya etad ananda samudra samvritam jnanamrita bhagavataya bhashitam Krishnena yogeshwara sevitangrina sat shraddhaya sevya jagat vimuchyate. Thus, Lord Krishna, whose lotus feet are served by all great yoga masters, spoke to his devotee this nectarian knowledge which comprises the entire ocean of spiritual bliss. So anyone within this universe who receives this narration with great faith is assured of liberation. So now he says how he is grateful to Vyasa because of mercy of Vyasa was only I was able to hear this. So please recite Vyasa prasadat shrutavan.
Vyasa prasada Shrutavan.
Etad guhyam aham param.
Etad Guhyam
param.
Yogam yogeshwarat krishnat.
Yogam Yogeshwara
Sakshat katayataha swayam.
Darshan
Vyasa prasadat shrutavan. Etad guhyam aham param. Yogam yogeshwarat krishnat. Sakshat katayataha swayam. So Vyasa prasada shrutavan. By mercy of Vyasa Deva, I was able to hear this knowledge. Etad guhyam atam param, which is confidential and which is superior. Of Yogam Yogeshwarat Krishna, of the master of yoga, Lord Krishna, this absolute devotional knowledge, Sakshat Katayataha Swayam, which was personally explained by the Lord. So by the mercy of Vyasa Prasada, I have heard these most confidential talks. Shrutavan Etad Guhyam Aham Param, directly from the master of all mysticism, Yogam Yogeshwarat Krishna, who was speaking personally to Arjuna. Sakshat Katayataha Swayam. So the import of this verse is mystery of the disciplic succession. So one has to understand Krishna not directly but through the medium of the spiritual master. Because spiritual master is a transparent via medium and the experience is still direct. It is like perceiving through a glass. We have that direct vision. So when the spiritual master is bona fide, then one can hear Gita directly as Arjuna heard it. So here Krishna is mentioned as Yogam Yogeshwara, as the master of all mysticism. So many mystics and yogis are there all over the world, but Krishna is the master of all yoga systems. And the topmost yogi is 6.47, Yoginam api sarvesham, those who are all act according to Krishna's instruction. Those who surrender unto Krishna, he is the topmost yogi. So Vyasadeva is as bona fide as Arjuna because Vyasa is a disciple of Nardamuni, who is a direct disciple of Krishna through Brahma. Because he comes in the disciplic succession and Sanjaya is the direct disciple of Vyasa, we have understood this knowledge as perfect, and Sanjaya understood also this knowledge as perfect. So Sanjaya could see and hear directly of Krishna's instruction because he is a direct disciple of Vyasa. His senses are purified by the grace of Vyasa. So as Arjuna was fortunate enough to understand Krishna directly by the grace of Vyasa, Sanjaya was able to hear Krishna directly. There is no difference in hearing directly from Krishna or hearing directly from Krishna or via bona fide spiritual master like Vyasadeva. So disciplic succession is a must. So without disciplic succession, one cannot hear Krishna and his knowledge, especially about Bhagavad Gita, is always imperfect. So therefore, the spiritual master is representative of Vyasadeva, and on his birthday it is treated as Vyasa Puja. So what was the experience of Sanjaya when he heard this narration? Please recite after me. Rajan Samsmrutya Samsmrutya
Rajan
Ajan samskrutya samskrutya
Samvadam Imam Adbhutam
Samvadam
Keshavarjunayo Punyam
Keshavarjunayo punyam
Drishyami cha muhurmuhu
Vishyam chamurmuhu
Rajan Samsmrutya Samsmrutya
Ajan samskrutya samskrutya
Samvadam Imam Adbhutam
Samvadam imam adbhutam
Keshavarjunayo Punyam
Keshavarjunayo punyam
Drishyami cha muhurmuhu.
Murmuhu.
So, my dear King Rajan, as I repeatedly recall this wondrous and holy dialogue, Samsmrutya means to remember, Samvadam, Imam Adbhutam, this wonderful, Keshavarchuniyo Punyam, highly pious, what happened between Krishna and Arjuna. Drishyami cha muhurmuhu, I take pleasure being thrilled at every moment. Drishyami, he is experiencing highest joy, happiness of highest category. So the transcendental portion of spiritual life is understanding Bhagavad Gita is so transcendental, one becomes conversant with the topics of Arjuna and Krishna. He becomes righteous and he cannot forget the talks. So how one develops such understanding? This comes from hearing from the right source directly from Krishna and attains full Krishna consciousness. So the result of Krishna consciousness is one becomes increasingly enlightened. He enjoys life with a thrill, not only for some time, but every moment. Muhur muhu. So again, further, he continues that experience. Tacha samsmrutya samsmrutya. Rupam atyadbhutam hare. Vishmayo me mahan rajan.
Vishmayo me mahan rajan.
Drishyami cha punah punah. Tacha samsmrutya samsmrutya. Rupam atyadbhutam hare. Vishmayo me mahan rajan.
Vishmayo me mahan rajan.
Drishyami cha punah punah. Somebody is noise. Hare Krishna, mute your audio, please. Mahesh, mute your audio. Hello, Hare Krishna, Mahesh, mute your audio, please. So here, Krishna is saying, Sanjaya is saying, O King, when I remember the wonderful form of Lord Krishna, I am struck with even greater wonder. I rejoice again and again because he saw the three perspectives, the universal form, he saw the four-armed form, he saw the two-armed form. So Sanjaya is saying he became wonder with great, and he was rejoicing that form of the Lord. He was appreciating, he was becoming happier and happier by seeing that, remembering that form of the Lord, what he saw in the battlefield. So Krishna exhibited universal form to Arjuna, and that form was never exhibited by Krishna before. So Arjuna also saw that universal form. So some great devotees also could see universal form when it was shown to Arjuna. And Vyasa is one of them who disclosed this to Sanjaya. So the result is Sanjaya remembering the wonderful form of Krishna exhibited to Arjuna, and he enjoyed it repeatedly. So this is conclusion of Bhagavad Gita, what Sanjaya is saying. So those who hear Bhagavad Gita, or those who read Bhagavad Gita, those who understand Bhagavad Gita, so those who keep a Bhagavad Gita in their house, what is the highest benefit? So please recite after me. Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna.
Yogeshwara Krishna.
Yatra Partho Dhanurdharaha.
Yatra Partho Dhanurdharaha.
Tatra Shrir Vijaya Bhutir.
Tatra Shri
Dhruva Nitir Matir Mama.
Dhruva Nityamatir Mama.
Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna.
Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna.
Yatra Partho Dhanurdharaha.
Yatra Partho Dhanurdharaha.
Tatra Shrir Vijayo Bhutir.
Tatra Shri
Dhruva Nitir Matir Mama.
Dhruva Nityamatir Mama.
So wherever there is Krishna, the master of all mysticism, Yatra Yogeshwaro Krishna, and wherever there is Archana, the supreme archer, Yatra Partho Dhanurdharaha. So there will certainly be opulence, victory, extraordinary power, and morality. Shri Vijayo Bhutir Dhruva Nitir Matir Mama. And this is my opinion. This is what Sanjaya is saying. So wherever there is Krishna, wherever there is Arjuna, so there all the auspicious things will manifest there. So initially Dhritarashtra was thinking that war will be favorable in his side, they might win the war. But Sanjaya is describing the scene in the battlefield, confirmed to Dhritarashtra, do not expect any victory for his side. So victory will be for the side of Arjuna because Krishna was there personally. So Krishna exhibits his opulence of Vairagya on the battlefield. He accepted the post of a charioteer, Ratha Saradi of Arjuna. So what was predicted about Maharaj Yudhishthira's life? Because Krishna and Arjuna were on the side of Yudhishthira, his victory will be certain. After victory, his kingdom would flourish more and more because not only was he righteous and pious, but also a strict moralist, never spoke a lie during his entire life. So some people might argue Krishna is inciting Arjuna to fight, is it immoral? No, Bhagavad Gita is the supreme instruction on morality. This is the essence of all religion, surrender unto Krishna. The instructions of Gita constitute the supreme process of religion and morality. So all these processes may be purifying and may lead to all the other processes may be purifying and they may lead to this final conclusion of surrender. But the last instruction of surrender is the last word in all morality and all religion. So in essence, what is the chapter 18 and Bhagavad Gita? The path of regulative principles according to social orders and different courses of religion may be confidential path. And to realize oneself by philosophical speculation and meditation is more confidential. Surrender unto Krishna in full consciousness is the most confidential instruction. So what are the important subjects that are discussed in Bhagavad Gita? The actual truth, absolute word, is the Supreme Lord and living entities and material nature are his energies. Perfect knowledge of the absolute truth means perfect knowledge of Krishna. So if one understands Krishna, all the departments of knowledge are parts and parcels of that understanding. So there are innumerable jivas and they are considered fundamental parts and parcels of the Lord. So material energy is manifested in 24 material elements. So creation is affected by time. There is a start and there is an end, and it is created and dissolved regularly. The 5 basic topics which Bhagavad Gita Krishna spoke are Ishvara, Jiva, Prakriti, Kala and Karma. So in these 4 things are eternal, Ishvara, Jiva, Prakriti and Kala. But there is one chance of karma which can only be changed. All the other 4 are eternal. So this is according to Lord Chaitanya's philosophy, inconceivable, one and different. So living entities are the marginal potency because they have an independent factor. They can either be under serving Krishna or under be serving Maya. So by proper use of that independence, he comes under the direct order of Krishna and attains his normal condition in the pleasure-giving potency. So at the end, Krishna, yasmin sthite guruna api dukkhena vichalyati. If one is situated under the shelter of Krishna's lotus feet, then even if there is dangerous type of inconvenience, then he is not disturbed. Just like Ambarish Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj. There are many instances. Prahlada's father, Hiranyakashipu, was chastising him, but he was patient, not disturbed. So assured that if you have actually taken shelter of lotus feet of Krishna, there is no question of danger. Kaunteya Pratijanehi. And Krishna confirms it. Kaunteya, my dear Arjuna, you declare to the world, my devotee will never vanquished by any enemy. So that is Krishna's assurance. Krishna means all opulence, all victory. In other words, he assured Dhritarashtra that you are expecting victory by the superior strength of your sons, Duryodhana and others. But don't hope like that. It is not possible because victory will be there where there is Krishna and where there is his pure devotee. So if you remain pure devotee, victory is assured for us. So in one more place, if the preacher is in our Krishna conscious movement are sincere devotees of Krishna, Krishna will always be with them because he is very kind and favorable to all his devotees. Just as Arjuna and Krishna were victorious at the battle of Kurukshetra, this Krishna conscious movement will surely emerge victorious if we remain sincere devotees of the Lord and serve the Lord according to the advice of predecessors. The whole battlefield became victorious because of Arjuna. So that is wanted. A devotee must be there and Krishna must be there. Then all appearances will come. That is the secret. So why should a devotee go to the forest to meditate or acquire some mystic power? He doesn't require anything if he always keeps Krishna within him. So then Dharma Yuddha begins. So now some of the questions based on today's class. Please explain why different people become envious of Krishna.
Prabhu, people get envy of Krishna for the only reason because they are in the clutches of Maya and they are with their limited knowledge, they are not able to understand Krishna Tattva completely.
Okay, correct. So Krishna says, because he is the supreme and nothing is above or equal to him. So when somebody is superior to us, we automatically become envious of that person or jealous of that person. So amongst whom is this Bhagavad Gita discussion generally recommended?
The people who are, Prabhuji, they are the people who are sincere, who are having bhakti towards Lord Krishna, and the people who want to elevate themselves and to reach Krishna's abode ultimately, and who want to follow the instructions of Bhagavad Gita completely and wholeheartedly willing to take the instructions of Krishna, are the people to whom it is recommended to tell about Gita.
Okay. So amongst devotees, basically those who are sincere, so Bhagavad Gita is recommended for them. So whom do Krishna worships?
Prabhuji, Krishna vice versa activity happens. Krishna worships his devotee and devotees also worships Krishna. For the only reason, devotees are the people who have that potency to even clear the people from the clutches of Maya who are abhaktas.
So Krishna preaches or Krishna worships those devotees who take risk for him in preaching the glories of the Lord. So a devotee should be dash than Krishna.
Merciful than Krishna.
Yes, more merciful than the Lord. So can anyone recite the last sloka of Bhagavad Gita?
Yatra yogeshwaro Krishno yatra partho dhanurdaraha tatra Shri Vijayo bhutir dhruvani tirmatir mama.
Oh, yes. So this is the final instruction. So thank you very much. We all had done a 3 years endeavor of understanding this Bhagavad Gita. And we have successfully completed this entire Bhagavad Gita in almost like 110 sessions or something we have taken. So thank you for bearing with us and trying to understand this Bhagavad Gita perspective. So any questions, please? Okay, then if there are no questions, thank you. Hare Krishna. We'll meet in future. Again,
Prabhu,
next.
I have a small request, Prabhu. Prabhu, out of 110 classes, most of the classes I have attended. I had asked earlier also, I have a sincere request. The slide shows what you have shown. Important ones can be shared in the group, Prabhu.
I'll see. I will see that. Okay, thank you. Hare Krishna. Thank you all. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.